And hopefully you and your family had a blast hearing about how God rescued his people, how they trusted in him and walked along dry ground, and how God does the same thing for you and for me. And we are called to trust in him each and every day of our life. We are going to move on to lesson number 2. And in this lesson, you are going to hear about how God's people are out in the wilderness and they are hungry. And they ask God for food. And God provides for them manna, which is kind of like bread, and quail, which is a meat. And he gives them instructions to follow. And they have to obey him. They have to do what he tells them to do in order for things to work out the way that God tells them they're going to work out. And so here you're going to hear about how God provides for you. He provides for everything that you have. And you're also going to hear about how God wants us to obey him. He wants us to follow his instructions each and every day of our life. He wants us to listen to him and to pay attention to what he is telling us in his word. And so once again, we hope that you'll gather up with your mom and your dad, your brothers and your sisters, gather on the couch, around the table, outside, wherever it is, and enjoy this lesson coming from your teacher. We'll see you for the next one in just a little bit. God's blessings.
Hello again, it's Miss Cindy here, and I don't think I introduced myself in the first video, so for those of you who do not know me, which I'm not sure how many of you there may be, I am Miss Cindy, and I'm a Sunday school teacher, and I do teach the older children at VBS, so that would be you. So hope to see you in Sunday school this fall. At any rate, we're going to have another video, and it's our second lesson, and it's about obedience and learning to obey and trust and obedience. From our first lesson, trust and obedience from this lesson, they kind of go hand in hand. So that's kind of revealed for us here in this video with the lesson of Moses taking the Hebrew people, God's chosen people, farther into the desert to find their promised home that God has promised to give them in their new land. So with that, let's look at the next video.
God provides food and water. God had helped Moses lead the Israelites out of Egypt through the Red Sea to an oasis to rest. Next, God led them farther away and into the desert. With a nation of 2 million Israelites, it would take a whole trainload of food to keep the people fed. After a month of traveling, they had run out of food. Yet God had a plan to provide for his people's needs. Unfortunately, the Israelites didn't trust God enough to wait for him to provide. They began complaining to Moses right away. Imagine 2 million people complaining and whining all the time. Why did you lead us out here into this desert? We were better off in slavery. At least there we had all the food we needed, but you've taken us out here to starve us to death. The people weren't being honest in their complaints. They were not better off in Egypt, where they suffered greatly under the rule of the Egyptians. God's people were under his care in the wilderness, and he loved them very much. They could count on him to take care of them if they would just be patient. God wasn't pleased with the people's grumbling. "Here's what I will do," he said. "I will bring down bread from heaven for you to eat. Every morning when you wake up, it will be on the ground. It will be thin flakes that will provide everything you need for your diet. Be sure to pick up what you need for each day and no more. On the 6th day, pick up twice as much as you need so you don't have to do any work on the Sabbath." God also said he would provide small birds called quail for the Israelites to eat for dinner every day. He would cause them to fly low enough so the Israelites could catch them. The first evening, God's promise came true. "Look at all the quail," the Israelites must have shouted. "Quick, let's catch some and cook them. I'm starving." The Israelites went to bed with full stomachs that night. The next morning, the Israelites awoke to dew on the ground. When the dew dried up, they saw small round flakes of something they had never seen before. Manna? Manna? They kept saying to each other. Can we eat this? Is this our food from God? The word manna means, what is it? So the bread became known as manna from heaven. This is the bread the Lord has given you to eat, Moses said. God had kept his promise. The people were pleased to have the bread from heaven. They discovered that it tasted like honey wafers. God instructed the Israelites to gather only enough manna for one day. But some people got greedy and gathered more than they needed. The next morning, their manna was rotten and full of worms. God had also said that there would be no manna on the Sabbath. The people were to gather twice as much the day before. God said that manna would still be good on the Sabbath. Some Israelites didn't obey. They went out on the Sabbath to look for manna, but they found none. They had no food for the Sabbath. God wanted the people to obey him and trust him to provide for their needs. This was a lesson the nation of Israel still needed to learn.
Okay, so how'd you enjoy the video? I thought it was pretty good. It certainly showed that the God can provide, obviously, and he knows what's best for his people. But part of that requires for them to receive all that he has to offer, they need to trust him and they need to be obedient. And we did see that because, first of all, after all he had done for them, they end up without some food. And for everything that he'd done, you'd think they'd realize that God wasn't going to let them starve in the desert, and he was going to give them food. And but they didn't do that, did they? What did they do? They started whining. Wah, 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 call the ambulance. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So at any rate, they got, they were whining, and, you know, Moses is like, what am I going to do with these people? And finally God said, okay, I'll take care of it. And so what does God do? You saw it. He provided them with food, but he gave them some instructions. Not to gather too much Monday through Friday, just enough for that day. And Saturday and Sunday, collect it all on Saturday. Get enough on Saturday for both Saturday and Sunday. But a lot of people didn't do it that way, did they? They were disobedient and did not follow God's instructions. And so what they end up with? They ended up with rotten food on Monday through Friday because they took too much in one day. And then on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, they ended up with no food on Sunday because they didn't collect enough on Saturday. So they paid the price for not being obedient. And that's what happens to us sometimes. When we're not obedient and following the rules and doing what we're told, we get in trouble, right? And so we have to pay the price, pay the punishment for that. But God is forgiving, and so he helps us to learn as we go that he knows what's best and that we should listen to what he tells us and do as, he gives us free will, but within guidelines. And we need to understand what those guidelines are and to trust God and to listen to him and do as he would have us to do. And he will always protect us and keep us safe, and he will do what's best for us. So with that, let's move on to our craft. Our craft is, we're going to make a quail with feathers, no less. So for that, what you need, let me get this stuff over here. You need your little packet with your feathers in it, and it will say quail. And you need a paper plate. I've got one that's already kind of part way done. You need your paper plate, you need glue, and some crayons or markers or colored pencils. And I don't think we need any scissors, but I got them here, so I'm going to bring them over. So, where do we go now? Let's start with our paper plate. The one you've got has already got holes in it. So what you're going to do is fold it in half so that those holes line up. Okay, so can you see through it? I can see you, but I don't know if you can see me. So at any rate, you're going to fold it up so those holes line up, but don't crunch it down because you want it to be still have some, you know, like look like a taco instead of just like flattening the whole thing out. You want, when you close it up, you want it to be like the body of the bird. Okay, so there's a little bit of give to it. So, okay, so you got your plate folded. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get our pieces out of our bag, and I think I got some extra pieces in here, so we will, I better look at the instructions here. So we folded the plate in half, and we're going to get our wings. Take your wings and put them together. You can have, you know what, before we put our wings on, maybe we should color the plate. You want to color the plate so that your bird is decorated. Kind of open it back up. And, you know, just give it a nice color. Color it however you want. And maybe make it kind of look like feathers-ish. You can do that. I'm not doing a very good job here. I'm sure you'll do much better. You can decorate it however you want, and be sure to decorate both sides. So go ahead and do that, and you can stop the video now if you want while you decorate your plate. So go ahead and decorate your plate, and we'll wait. Okay, so you've started the video again after you've decorated your plate. And you're going to hold it in half like this. And we're going to take our wings, and they're cut so that you have on each side of your bird, you can put one wing on one side and one wing on the other side, and use your little fasteners. Put it through the hole, and then do the same thing with the other wing. Why don't we do the other wing in a second? First, we need to put our feet, our legs and our feet. They've got holes in them too, so you're going to line them up. And we need to glue them together. So get your glue and line them up. Or get your glue on there. I don't know, we probably don't have to put it on both of them, but I'm gonna. Okay, so we got our glue on. And they're not gonna line up perfect. They're not gonna line up perfect, but we can get them together here. And make sure the hole matches there. We're gonna need that hole. Stick them down. So there we go. So now we got our legs. So now that our legs are together, go back to this wing that we got here and put it through so that your wing goes to the back of the bird, and then put your legs out onto the bird, onto the fastener on the inside, and then push those pieces down so that it holds it down and in place. So you got it like that. Can you see that? So we got a wing on one side with the legs, and let's put a wing on the other side. Make sure you get it going in the right direction here. Put it here and take another fastener. And of course, if you want to color and decorate the wings, by all means, you can do that. And we got that there. Now we're gonna fasten it down, separate those little spiky things and push them down so that it holds them in place. And there we go. We got a wing on this side, a wing on this side, and we got our feet. So now we're going to put the head on. So you got 2 pieces of the bird's head. And what we're going to do is take one of them and take a feather, whichever one you want. I'm going to take the smaller feather because I'm going to use the small one for the head and the big one for the tail. So take that, and you can either glue it down, or if tape works better for you, you can tape it down. I'm not sure how much we got here, how well this is going to hold. I guess it'll hold pretty good because it'll grab onto the feathers. So glue your feather onto the bird's head, and then take the other half of the head, and we're going to glue that together. So we need to leave space. See, this is where the feathers are going this way, so we need to put it on this part of this is the head. So we're going to line it up so that this piece on the back of the bird's head lines up on the back of the bird right here. So it looks like that. So line them up and take your glue and put a little glue on there and line it up and stick that bird's head right on there. So there you got the head. And then we're going to put the other one with our feather. We're going to line that up as well. See how we got that lined up there now together? And we're going to glue that baby on. You guys having fun? I hope so. It's not like being in VBS when we're all here together, but hopefully you're getting something out of this and you're enjoying it. So we got that glued on, and that looks pretty good. Maybe now what we do is glue our tail on. So let's open this up a little bit here, and probably should have put this on before we did. There we go. Well, I was going to say before we put the other half of the head on, but that's okay. This is going to work all right. So take your tail, your feather tail, and put it in there and stick her down, and maybe on an angle so it goes up. There we go. So that is on. And now what you're going to do is you don't want to glue the whole thing shut, but you do want to at least glue like from the tail down to, oh, maybe this far. Can you see that? Maybe this far. Put glue on here on both sides, just a bit. And then for at the head, from here up about the same distance, what you want to do is glue this shut, but you want to leave this part unglued, like from here and from here, so that your legs can move back and forth, okay? So now that we got that glue in place, let's pull it down and stick her together here. And back here. And, woo-wee! Look at what we got. We got a quail. Okay? Hold it down, get that glue there to hold it good. And our legs go back and forth, and our wings move. Whoops, let's do it this side, because I got that colored kind of. But, so there you go. Now we have our quail. Was that fun? I hope you had a good time with that. So, I'll see you for lesson number 3, which will be coming up before too much longer. And that is Moses and the 10 Commandments. So, see you then. Bye.
I've been changed.